Hello, 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 lovelies. How are you? How's everybody doing today? Did everybody enjoy the thumbnail? I actually didn't do the lazy thing and just put up my standard picture. I, you know, set up my own photo shoot and I think probably horrified my neighbors. So we'll give people a couple minutes to get here. How is everybody? Let me say hi to everybody. Hey, Croc, Papa, Mayor Wrench. How are you? Claude, how are you? I'm sorry to disappoint. I'm not currently still dressed like I was this afternoon. Although, valuable lesson, short shorts, which, by the way, Claude, there you go. I fulfilled my promise that I had and said once I was monetized, you guys would get to see me in short shorts. So you've now seen it. But no. Short shorts and laying on black asphalt in the summer in like 90 something degree weather is not pleasant. You would think I'd be smarter than that, but apparently I'm not. Not to mention laying on my driveway is kind of gross. So I changed when I came inside. So I'm in pajamas and a sweatshirt because I put makeup on and the cameras are out, but it's been a struggle bus because it's been a while since I've been on camera. So you guys are going to have to forgive me with the struggle bus of the day. Hey, Parson, how are you? How are you, darling? Yeah, Claude, you get to look at me. you got to look at me in the thumbnail. You get to look at me now, and I've got all my setup back up, so I will be back on video from now on. So, what can I say? Did I miss anybody? Thank you, Claude. Thank you. Very nice. Hey, Sin, how are you? Sin, I wanted to tell you exactly when I was doing this in the other chat, but I did not want to be disrespectful to the channel because they are a good friend. So I didn't want to be seen as promoting mine over theirs. I don't think they would. I'm good friends with them. They will redirect things here, but you know, but that's why. So I tried to put up my thumbnail early. Hey, Tex. Opal, cheating on RGE. Thank you. Yeah, like Opal, my imaginary, not imaginary, it's Opal. Hit the thumbs up, hit the like, subscribe. Hey, Johnny. I got nailed with the YouTube cull that they've been doing. So a bunch of subs. I lost those because YouTube has been once again removing people that things aren't active. And due to the topic I'm covering, especially tonight, I guarantee this video will be demonetized and probably initially suppressed until I argue it, because why would people need to know fact? Navy text, am I allowed to share what you texted me the other day? Let me know. So, like I said, I'll give people a few more minutes. I'll wait a couple more minutes until I'll give it to like the 5-minute mark until we start in on the topic, but we'll cover some other stuff and some housekeeping. The new Patreon is up and running. Yay. Do not feel obliged to have to do it, to join it. You're not going to lose anything. If you don't join my Patreon, it doesn't matter. I am happy and thrilled with the support, but by you guys liking, subscribing, sharing, being here makes me happy. If you guys want to support the channel in other ways or want to see other things, then go ahead and check on Patreon. It's where I can put things and do things I can't do here because of silly YouTube rules. So, that being said, you won't lose anything if you don't do it. Not the end of the world. But if you want the extras, go there. There are several tiers that say they are for adults. I'm going to make this very clear. No, this is not Playboy. But I am not comfortable with some of the more adult-oriented discussions or minors watching me clean firearms or some of the more subjective ways I dress, like I was in my thumbnail, kind of being targeted towards minors So I had to make sure to put a disclaimer in on that one. So next point of business. So that's up. It's there. Go check it out. Email is open. My Instagram. Send people. We can talk. Let me know what you want to talk about, guys. Before I forget, unfortunately, I do have a little bit of tiny bit of sad news. Our no, Parson, not Playboy. I said not. Before I continue on with all the fun, I do want to give the channel's condolences, and as in accord with BC Fund, we shall do what we have been doing, and that is making a donation. The very loyal channel member, frequent panel guest, and very good friend to me, Navy Tex, lost his father several days ago. So if everybody could give Navy Tex a little extra love. I did it last year and it was awful. So I don't want I know how bad it is. So we all need to rally around our lovely Tex. Parson, I did not say Playboy. I said no Playboy because the new Patreon, you'll be able to get the Maxim style photos of me that everybody is so wanting. The point that several people think I'm going to be embarrassed by them. I really don't care. But I'm just not cool with putting those up, even though it's just kind of implied with certain things for kids. So that's why that says that. But I want to make it clear that there's nothing not truly safe for work. It's just, I don't want my 12-year-old watching it content. So. Yes, Claude. Claude, no one would ever. And Claude, I think everybody has you to thank because Claude, wasn't it you that made me that got me to do the Daisy Dukes agreement for? I think it was you and a couple others that got me to do the Daisy Dukes thing before when I was working on getting monetized, and now you guys have it. So. Okay, let's talk. So here we go. Obviously, we are talking about the, history-making event that happened. Thus being the attempted assassination of former president and presidential candidate Trump. So I don't know that I've gotten that many texts in a while asking how close I am to where it happened. Butler County is the county right above mine. And I am very, very much familiar with it and the fairground there. So in looking at all of the coverage, there's been some kind of misinformation, some disinformation, and just a lot of speculation and squawking. And I'm going to see what I can do to put that to rest. But this isn't political. I'm not discussing politics or why the person, I don't care. We are here to discuss the firearms aspect of this. And at this point, I am not, I'm not mincing words, Papa. At this point, I'm not going to completely dig into who did what wrong, like certain agencies, until I talk to a couple more people. I know many people that were there working. Claude, 2 people passed away during the attempt and several were injured. One of the people that passed away during the attempt is a fire chief who I happen to know in passing. And they passed away because they threw themselves over their family and another person to try to protect them once shots started flying. So they passed away. Another gentleman made it to the hospital. They passed away there. There are several injured. So, yeah, Papa monetization's out the window, but still. So that being said, we're gonna not mince words with things, but we're also going to be logical. We're not gonna make it political, because the fascinating thing to me is it's history, and it's like a once in a lifetime thing, pretty much. And this is the first serious attempt in a very long time on someone's life. And there were some strange situations, and it was right by me, and I've worked there before, so I know the area. So, Papa, I will look into that for you. Papa, I will look into that for you. I will send an email. Hey, Credence and Mikey, how are you? How are you doing? Yeah, Papa, I'll send an email to the deputy fire chief and see what's going on with that. So no big deal. Okay, so let's start looking at the things. One of the things that I have to thank my own personal behind the scenes person for, wait, Tex, where are you? Tex, tell me you're still here. I need a text check-in so I can give the sarcastic answer and he'll know it. While I pull this up. Let me find the cool picture for you that we're going to start with. Okay, we're going to start here. Yeah, he left for a minute. Okay, well, I got to silence my phone. When Tex comes back, I'm going to make my sarcastic. Let me silence this real quick, guys. Sorry, bad YouTuber. Bad YouTuber. Forgot to silence the phone. Okay. So, the first thing we're going to look at is where it happened. Okay, guys? So, we're going to look at this first. This is the Butler County Fairgrounds. Fairgrounds Farm and Show Complex. It's a giant rural complex. It's out in the middle of pretty much nowhere. It's where the county fairs are. It is a big area. Now, I'll show you some of the other pictures. You have to understand the majority of the buildings are very far away and very low because it's a farm complex and a fair complex. So a lot of these, hey Div, how are you? Div, I have so much to tell you. Oh, you'll have to join me. Come on up. We can talk. Come on up if you want. Let me know if you want a link. So you have to remember a lot of these buildings. Oh, before I forget, Div, share it out because the algorithm sees the words firearms and assassination, so you know I'm getting shadow banned. Love you, Div. So a lot of these buildings, right, are one story, slightly above. They are meant for when they show cattle at the fairs. They're not meant to be multiple stories, right? So there's not a ton of tall buildings. It is very open and exposed. Now, the other thing you guys need to remember is, and I say this as kindly as I can, I have worked with these people before. When you have something like this, or anytime there's a political figure or possibility of issues, G20 summit, there's lots of practices and plans put into place. They had a specific hospital, which I knew was their primary, was Allegheny General. And then they had a second one, which was UPMC Presbyterian, were the first and backup trauma and hospital facilities in case something happened, and unfortunately it did. They had multiple helicopters. They had one on the ground and one in the air in case it was needed. They had EMS and fire on site and law enforcement. Now, here's where the problem is going to lie, right? This is a joint task force. Now, when I say it's a joint task force, it's joint as in the way as like LawTube and some of those things are. People pretend to work together at first, but everyone hates each other, so nobody actually works together, and they like to point at each other. So, and be the alpha. The problem is when you work with these three-letter agencies, they tend to tell you, this is my operation, this is my world, you're just living in it. Be happy I'm letting you be here. So for them to come back lately, I've seen several statements that certain things weren't swept, certain things weren't done, and that was on local law enforcement. You really can't, at this point, pin it on local law enforcement because all we're allowed to do is exactly what they tell us to do. They like shoo people away. It's their party and they do it, right? So I have some other pictures, but what you can see is this is the roof where the gunman was. There's a large area. This is where they've built the stage. And I'll show you a different picture for Trump. And then this was all people. And then right behind him on the stage, up against this building, were the other people. So that kind of gives you a visual overview. Now, before I jump too deep into this, understand that anytime you are providing what we call cover, and there's going to be surveillance and a sniper, there's always counter surveillance. If you, as a sniper, think there's nobody watching you, you're wrong. If you're there, there's somebody there probably watching you. And if you can see them, they can see you. So there's almost always counter snipers. The other thing you need to remember is it's not as easy to place a sniper in a place like this because they're out in the open. Now, I understand, hey, Irish, I understand, and I've talked to people that were there and that have worked it, that several people went up to Secret Service agents or FBI and said, hey, there's a sniper on the roof of that building over there. Like, y'all may want to do something about it. And they kind of got the, okay, great, go along. You're annoying me thing. And I think part of that is probably a lack of communication. So what happens is you have all these people, you have all these snipers, Overwatch, everything, in uniform, but you have just as many plain clothes. Because if I'm going to scout an area to do something and scout a target, you want to look for the ones and try to counter where you could be that they won't see as well. So there's both. I think a lot of this could have probably been avoided if when that happened, someone got on the radio and was like, hey, can somebody check that one is ours and just the plain clothes? Nobody did. Right now, Secret Service is saying local police were supposed to sweep and hold that building. Nah. The other thing I've seen, which I find really funny, someone was like, how did nobody notice my guy with a ladder? Well, here's the thing. Hey, the thing is, there are exterior ways to get up it without bringing a ladder. And B, it's not uncommon to see ladders on the ground. It really isn't. It's a fairground. So people, you can't. He was using an AR. I can break that down and put it into a backpack. It's not like my man was trying to carry a Barrett around and was like, no, nobody can see me. I have the Barrett. You're not hiding a Barrett in a backpack, okay? So let's look at the next picture here real quick. A little better picture for you. Okay, here we go. Here's it when it happens. Right? So what you can see here is lighting and media, porta potties, everything. Here is the stage. Here are secured buildings right behind him and clearance tents for the motorcade. The grandstand, this is the area for regular people and media. Here's where Trump is. These circles show you where there were obvious, these ones are where there were obvious snipers. These were police ones. This circle right here, that was the gunman. Okay? Obviously, media and press. So we have a couple problems when we look at this. I personally would not have chosen this spot. Now, granted, he didn't have many other options, and I wish I could go up there and show you in person, but it is still going to be locked down like no other. But he did have a couple things in his favor, the majority not so much. He is up here shooting from this position. As you can see, it is a sloped roof. Never a great idea. On top of it, he did do this well. We have the flag. And you're going to need the flag to make a judgment on the weather and wind before you take a shot. The reality is this is about 200 yards away. About a 200-yard shot, right? Not crazy. 200-yard shot is absolutely not crazy given everything, okay? So, several people asked me, how hard of a shot kind of is that really? And, you know, what are some of the issues with it? So some of the issues are going to be, he went for a headshot. Trump and several others openly said they saw Trump turn his head and move. And that's why he caught it right here at the top of the ear, right? But what I want you to remember is, here's your top of your ear. If I draw a straight line, I'm going to catch you right here. So all it took is moving that much, and that's why they missed, and it didn't go right through here. Yeah, Div, they do. I'm going to pull it up in a minute so you can see. But this is why we don't headshot, okay? It takes like this much movement, and that's not a lot of movement. It's not. But that's the problem. That's why we tell you to go body shot. Taking a headshot's incredibly difficult because by the time you pull the trigger, there's a tiny bit of a lag, more so depending if you're shooting out to like a mile or thousands of yards. 200 yards, it's going to be pretty quick. It's going to be a pretty quick thing with speed of sound and speed of the bullet. But farther distances, you're going to have to really work, like use that. Yeah, Parson, you do, but I'm going to show you other things about that flag in the wind. So 200 yards of div is not, it's not an insane shot. Hey, this way up, how are you? Welcome, welcome. It's not an insane shot. It's not the easiest, but he's got a scope, right? So let's pull up some of the other things and some of why he failed. Now, I am going to preface this by saying this. Hey, Cialan. Hey, Cialan. I am going to preface this by saying this is not in any way, not in any way, me telling somebody how to do something. Okay, great. We're just going to clear that. Yeah, Johnny, 200 yards with irons isn't that difficult, but I'm going to show you where some of his issues lie and where some of them don't. But hey, so first and foremost, let's look at what you need to be able to do this. So, like Div and everybody is asking, how far of a shot is this? Like a really far shot? Because people are making it sound really impressive. Like really impressive. Guess what? It's really not. It's not nearly as impressive as people are trying to make it out to be. But let me pull up this nifty picture for you. Okay, I'm going to go this one first. And this is one of the things you need. You're going to be doing 19 distance. Make sure I'm still in frame for you. We got to go bigger, don't we? Here. Okay, can we see this better now? There we go. Much better. Hey, Ben. So what you're looking at here, trace 1, 2, and 3. This is an example. This was done with the 5.56, just like him. Irish, you don't need the math. I'm going to show you why you don't need the math, ultimately. But this shows you the bullet. Yeah, Melanie, it's a drop chart. So this is for a 5.56 is what he's shooting. So the different traces, Win, PMC, and AM, these are the different bullets they did it with. You use multiple ones for control. And this is the velocity. Those are how many grains it is. And then they show you how it's plotted. Not div, not nearly as much fun. So this is the inches in drop that a bullet is going to drop once it leaves the barrel, right? And so this is 200, right? Like, this is what you have to take into account. So yeah, okay. Hey, Texas, it's got an okay effective range there. But you can see how much these bullets drop. Once you're out here, which is about where he would be, much more than that. Like, I mean, you're really, depending on the ammunition, this is, you're going to lose anything worth anything, right? So let's go over to here. And another reason I think our gentleman might have been a failure at some of this. He did what we call parabolic sighting, if I had to guess. So when you sight in a rifle, you use what's essentially parabolic sighting. Bullets go up, bullets come down, right? So if you take the radius of what you're doing and the bullet and the gun, it depends on a whole bunch of things. If I sighted in at 50 feet, well, here, we'll go with 20. Where's a good example? Okay, if I sighted in right here at like 100, at 200, it's going to be, my sight's still going to be the same because they correlate, right? So you can sight things in on short range. Like, where is this? You can sight things in on a short range and know that it's going to hit here on a long range. Because if your sight is on right here at this distance, just under 75, your sight's going to be on at just over 225 because gravity and physics. So if I had to guess, he did a crappy job sighting in his scope. He also probably did not take the ballistics into effect, right? Now, again, everyone said, ooh, math. I don't know. No, y'all are out on the math. I'm a math nerd, so I like to do it. But and anyone who does distance shooting keeps a notebook and you keep track of everything. But all you got to do is go to shooterscalculator.com and you put in the weight, the velocity, your zero. It'll give your trajectory. You can do your windage calculations, and it will tell you exactly how you have to adjust. So when I talk about windage calculations and things, you know, depending on weather, and if I do my calculations, I know my sight is sighted in. But I know because of wind, I need to aim 15 degrees to the left in order to be in. So that's where those calculations come into effect. Now, you know, the easiest kind of explanation, if you're not a math person, you're not really into it, in order to figure out the windage, the easiest way to do it is you figure out wind direction and speed. Then you take your range in yards, so this would have been 200, the speed, and divide by 15. That will give you your minute of accuracy windage. And then you adjust the aim based on your MOA in the direction of the wind. So like I said, I know I have to aim to the left because of everything, right? So, you know, you have to kind of understand that or you're going to miss based on other things. But I got to cheat here. So we are going to look at what I got to cheat with. This is my nifty behind the scenes amazing person, even though Tech stepped out of him to make the joke anyways, for that person who said the super secret squirrel in my house who was just a weather marine who knows absolutely nothing. It must be stolen valor. I mean, hey, why not? Not like he would know anything about this, right? Right? That's cute. Try me. That's really cute. So he pulled the data for me. This is where Trump and everybody is. This is the shooter. This is the shooter's line of sight and the shot he is going to take right here. This is your windage. So the wind was coming in at 7 knots, 260 degrees off when you measure it using the 360 degrees to get your distance. Relative humidity was 42%, gave your temperature. It was at 2056 Zulu, which is 1800, about 6 o'clock local. It happened about 6:15. Temperature 90 degrees. Relative humidity 40%. Dew point pressure 30.14 inches of mercury per millibar, right? And then your knots and your wind. I can tell you, so wind direction, bullet direction. Because weather, Marine, thank you. All in all to say, yes, it was great that he had that flag, right? Who said that before? Let me find where's my flag person? Somebody tell me who made the flag comment. I think it was either Sin or Cialan. Whoever said it. Where's my wind person? Own up to it. Let me find you. That's Johnny. Oh, here we go. Parson. It was Parson. Sorry, Parson. So, Parson, here's the problem. The wind isn't going to do jack to that flag because it's parallel to the wind. I corrected it, Sim. Thank you. I went up and found it. It's parallel to the wind. You cannot judge windage off a flag that's in parallel. The other thing he had going against him is there really isn't. Hey, Brenda, how are you? There really isn't anything that you can see based off of the pictures that he would have been able to really judge windage off of, because the wind direction was in line with the flag. And you generally look for a flag or something to judge your windage. Now, that being said, that amount of windage is going to have pretty much jack diddly effect on it. It's really not. It's not. You're not talking crazy winds over a crazy distance. He had a crappy AR. Next point of problem. I don't know where he is. Are you still? Let's I got to double check on him. Where's my darling? Claude, you still in here? Oh, see, Alan, I'm really not. Yeah, Melanie, I'll check in a minute, okay? Let me pull this one up for you guys. Because sorry. Claude, you should be happy with this one. Okay. This, Claude, enjoy. Hold on, no, it's not a joke. This is from Claude, we can. Okay, this is when I decided I was going to scare the neighbors today. Right? Oh no, Loki with a gun. Hey, Cookie. Loki with a gun. What can I say? So. Okay, Melanie, I'll check as soon as I can. So, yes, this is my driveway. Yes, I have a feeling my neighbors are probably concerned. The Allen is not an HK goodness, but good guess. Nice zoom in. Person? That's not zoomed in. I mean, like, if you really want me to zoom in, I can. There you go. There's better pictures on the thumbnail, and I have some other amusing ones, but hey. What could I say? So, if you look what I'm doing, I have a picture where it's a better picture of this, I should say. What I'm doing wrong is my feet are up. Your feet need to be turned out so that your instep's on the ground to stabilize you. But again, I'm not the smartest person, and asphalt was hot. And I took like 2 pictures, and then I was like, F it. My feet are staying on the yoga mat I'm using. So, yoga mat it was. But as you can see, proper prone technique is belly button and preferably up to the ribs, depending on how flexible you are and what you're doing. All the way to the hips and all the way down to the feet should be flush on the ground. Your feet should be turned out so your instep is flat. If you are not flexible or strong enough to do it, you can take one leg and cock it up at a 45-degree angle. I will put some of those other pictures up later where you can see a better, proper prone position for shooting from. But as you can see, I have iron sights on this, right? You can hit with iron sights. So I am looking 2 eyes open. I hate when people shut one eye. It's not how we shoot. We shoot with both eyes open. So we're going to look down our sight. You see me. I have grip, trigger. What you can't tell is the guard is actually right here. I'm on the outside of the guard, and I have it on a bipod like he does. Here's the magazine. Okay. This weapon is as close as I could get to what he was using because I didn't really feel like digging things out. So he's laying like this. Now, remember what I said? You need to have the majority of your body on the ground for stability. The reason we want your insteps, we'll go here so you can see myself. The reason we want your insteps flat on the ground is because then the recoil doesn't affect you. The more of you that's flat on the ground, the less the recoil is going to move you. And you can see I have it in the pocket of my shoulder, and that's where you want it to be. So here's the problem. I'm really flexible. So you can see I'm pretty far up. I've got my chest pretty far up, which is what you want. You want your chest and arms up. You want to be looking straight, and you want controlled breathing and pull. He's on a downward slope, right? Just like I am here. Generally, I would be a lot higher up with my upper body, but because my rifle's sloped downwards, I have to be lower, which isn't as stable of a position to be able to get my shot, or I'm going to have to really bring that up. I generally, and most people don't use a bipod. Generally, most people, and I have a picture of it, I'll put them up after the stream. I just throw a backpack under here, a little more stability, and it's easier to just chuck your backpack on and bolt if you have to. But he was using a bipod, so I pulled out a bipod for it. So he's already shooting at a downward angle. That's not going to help his drop. So you have a cheap weapon, not the greatest ammo, not the greatest sight. You didn't do a great job sighting it in. We can tell. I mean, you didn't do awful. You at least got close. But you should know we don't do headshots. That's why we go for the T-box. Because then if they move an inch, you don't miss and hit the people behind them. That's why, okay? Now, the presidential candidate looks like you got in a fight with Mike Tyson. Literally looks like you got in a fight with Mike Tyson. You're missing a piece of your ear. It's about it. You know, you aim for the top of the body in the T-box, then take a center mass here. We don't really have to worry as much about making people into Mike Tyson clones. So, Sin, what kind of firearm is that? We've had, our guesses so far have been, let's see, an FN. I thought someone else guessed. Croc, you going to put your guess in? See on HK? Anybody? I'm going to reveal it in a second. No? Okay. I'll give you a minute and I'll tell you what it is. So he's not in the greatest position. We're already shooting downhill, which is going to speed up bullet drop at a distance of 200. And with what he had, I would not count on perfect aim at 200. So it's better to be level. It's much better to be level. You really do not want to be. And he's out in the open. But we have a bad shooting angle. And we can't judge wind because the flag is in parallel. It doesn't take a whole lot to be able to figure this out even as an amateur. You don't have to be an amazing sniper or marksman to figure out that shot. I mean, doing it the way he did, you have to be batshit crazy. Absolutely batshit crazy. But it's not the world's most technical shot. The answer is that would be a Setme C308. That would have been a Setme. Yeah, that's a Setme. It's a Setme with some upgrades and modifications. I will adjust the description box after with links to my to the modifications and everything that's on that set me for you, if anybody wants them or wants to see exactly what I have on the set me. Brenda, no, they would have no gunpowder residue. GSR, gunshot residue, you generally only find on the shooter's hands and arms. I have gunshot residue on me from that, even just from sitting that way. But yeah, over like 15, 25 feet, depending on the weapon, you are not going to have any GSR, especially not at 200 yards. So no gunshot. And to answer your other question, Brenda, because I did this for 16 years professionally, it's my, you know, I've done this for 16 years and I still compete and do stuff. So guns, yay. Rifle. Oh, and by the way, the neighbors did not come outside, but I did park a vehicle. You can see the shadow at the top of the driveway. So people driving on the road were not like, what in the ever-loving is that person doing? One of my neighbors has like teenage boys. So, I mean, they probably would have been more amused. The other one's got a boy and a girl. They're both teenagers, but yes, so that was the driveway. So it's a set me, it's somewhat close to his AR, but this is the position he would have been in and was in based on the pictures. And we have our distance, right? Yay. What? Paul, oh well. What's wrong, Paul? Oh well, what? You got to give me more than the oh well. I didn't see you before in the chat. I just said hi. Guessing teenage boys wouldn't be looking at the firearms, Alan. I don't know. I am old. I was informed earlier today. I am old, fat, and ugly. So I don't think the teenage boys would have been looking at the firearm. No, I'm not offended. I thought it was funny. So let's pull up another picture for you guys so we can show you more of this and explain a couple other things that are kind of interesting. Paul, who's wrong on what accounts? What 3 accounts? You're going to have to help me out here, darling. There we go. This way. Okay, now I can share it because I'm old. Okay, there's a better look at the rifle. Lost my earbud. Better look at the rifle. That is what I was facing. So no, hey Jay Wolfenstein. Hey Cycle Boy. So I was facing the woods behind my house. I was not, in fact, placing anybody in danger, but let's move that. And hey Stephen, how are you? Parson, yeah, there's a rifle. But by the way, there you go, Claude. There are your shorts. Claude, you've been waiting a year. There are those shorts. Yes, I bought them when I was 15. Yes, they're from Hollister. Yes, they do button, but because they're so low, I was much like when I bought them in the early 2000s, I just folded it over and did not, in fact, button them because why not? But this is the rifle. So you can see this is what we've got to stick up here in the pocket of the shoulder. He is holding it here with his dominant, and then we're bracing, right? You're going to brace off of here. But again, he's shooting downhill. So trying to hold it level or prop up the end of it is incredibly hard. And then that's going to show off his shot and his trajectory too. So we can go, let's see, can I go back to the other picture? Let's bring it back to the other picture. Let me see if I can go back to the other picture for you. Darth, you're complaining? Everybody note there will be no more nice thumbnails and pictures and visual references. Darth is complaining. I'm just teasing you, Darth. Okay. So Did it share? Did I not share? No, I didn't because I'm an idiot. There we go. Okay. So like I said, in order to do what I'm doing, if he doesn't want to be aiming down where it's now going to affect the drop on that rifle, he's going to have to be holding this up or need something much higher than a standard bipod for the straight shot. And then even then, when you start calculating drop, he's got to be pretty experienced, and he's not. Claude, 5'11". So as you can see, me shooting on a downhill, I'm not nearly as stable as I could be. Stability is one of the most important things when you're going to take a shot like that, right? How did I get to where? It's my driveway in the picture. How'd you get there? It's my driveway. We've talked about the sighting. This was the other question I had a lot. Let's answer questions first real quick. He's using a 5.56 round, right? Its effective range is about 300 meters. He's at like 2. But most of this is going... Darth, you haven't told me where. That was my driveway. I'm still waiting. But no, he's using a cheap rifle and cheap ammo, so that aim is not and doesn't have a great degree of skill, so he's not gonna be doing great. Oh, same world where you're complaining about it. Oh no, Darth, I was just joking because you said not clickbait thirst trap. I was just joking and telling everyone to blame you because it was amusing. Yes, we're all aware that I'm a woman. I mean, look, I mean, I'm not blonde, but I think those 2 pictures prove I'm okay, that we all know I'm a woman. I'm just saying. So, what does this all come down to? Honestly, Darth, you're we're just playing along. Well, Darth, you're gonna have to forgive me. It's been a long day. I was laying in my driveway trying to not get arrested or have the neighbors call the police because I had a rifle out, okay? Is a problem. I promised Claude and people pictures in the shorts. So I had to deliver to my people. So what's the problem? Yes, he was within range. Bad shot attempt placement. You planned for center mass. He didn't. Secret Service screws up because they assume it's a plainclothes when someone brings it up and they don't bother sweeping. It's a very open area. There's not a lot of places, and there's not a great covering concealment. Papa, did she tell you? Did Patty tell you why she's not in chat today? And tell her I love her. So there's a lot going against everybody. Everybody dropped the ball here. I'm not talking about the sniper. He's an idiot. All of the enforcement agencies dropped the ball, but trying to pin it back on locals, not accurate. Because they can't do anything. They have to mother may I everything with the 3-letter agencies. Patty! Now that the guys have all screenshotted the video. Patty, they don't have to. It's my thumbnail, and I put it up on the community tab. And Patty's been a member for 11 months. Yay! Hey, Patty, did you show Doug the picture? Show Doug. He'll be amused. You still have no voice? Okay. Oh, Patty, my darling. So, yeah. He's got a bad aim. He didn't pick a great spot. He doesn't have his right flag for windage. Or we know all that. People screwed up because they did not, in fact, clear things the way they should. As a shooter, what's my perspective? You could have. It's an easy open shot. You're lucky that the guy's not a great shooter. Like I said, remember, it grazes right here. But everybody says moments before the shot, because he'd been facing like this way. He turned to move at someone, so we're going to follow it in line. He's going in between the eyebrows for a headshot. That's what he's going for. Go for, that's why we tell you center mass. Any movement you miss. And like I said, you hit the fire chief who shielded his family members, and then he was very promptly removed from the gene pool by the Secret Service. So that's how that shooting went. You know, there's things that could have been done better. It wasn't an impossible shot. And all in all, it was a fairly clear one. Although I did have a question for somebody. Let me find it. Who asked me? Who commented? Was it I'm trying to find? Oh, Sin. False flag in what way? In what way? Just, I haven't seen a ton of that. Papa, she described my picture. Papa, those are my shorts from high school. I bought them when I was 15, and they still fit me. And when people used to ask my dad if why he let me out of the house that way, my father's exact words were, and nobody's going to do jack diddly. He was like, I don't care what you wear. The first person to be obnoxious, you're going to knock out. So, like, you do you. My dad really didn't care what I wore. He thought it was funny. Brenda, yeah, they did. All these people screwed up. You have FBI, CIA, FBI, Secret Service, and DHS all there, right? 3-letter agencies. The problem is Secret Service is running this op. They have people under them. And when they start breaking it apart, they tell people, you clear this, but you can't do anything without their permission. It's their op. So multiple people approached agents and said, there's a guy on a roof with a gun. No one does anything. It is my hypothesis, speculation, and whatever Emily D. Baker said. No, Patty, I'll get there. Speculation and whatever EDB says. That the people that were told assumed it was somebody in plain clothes, because we put plain clothes counter surveillance out in surveillance because you're going to look for everybody in uniform to try to avoid. It's my assumption, hey, weapons, that they assumed it was someone in plain clothes. All this took was somebody getting on the radio and saying, hey, E.E. Caroline, do we have somebody posted there? That's all that took. The building wasn't cleared. It wasn't secured. They're blaming local police. Local police are saying they told us to stand there and look pretty much. And I'm going to have to go with local police on that one, because I've been with that exact same task force many times. And their standard answer is, go stand there. Okay. They like to run the show. They're very, gotta be in charge, gotta be the alpha. Yeah, so Secret Service, it's federal law enforcement. They do carry the power of arrest. So, you know, they all screwed up by not looking into this guy. The guy screwed up because, well, he wasn't very good at technology. He wasn't very good at mechanics of shooting, and he wasn't a great shooter. And so to try to take that shot on a downward slope like I showed you, because I showed you what you would have to do with a weapon to get it nice and level, then, you know what? I don't think I can do it that way. Then he should have used like a backpack, but even then he's going to have a hard time calculating drop. And he picked a bad wind marker. So let me see what else I've missed so far. Cycle Boy, wondering on procedure. Shouldn't all elevated sight lines within half click be secured? Cycle, yeah, they should. Here's the problem. There is nothing. This is a giant county fair field. So you have all these low buildings. The problem is 2/3 of these buildings have snipers. About half of them are in uniform. The others are in plain clothes. So when people said, oh, hey, there's a sniper up there, all these people assumed, and they assumed wrong, that it was just someone that was plain clothes. Instead of getting on a radio and saying, hey, do we have someone up there? We don't? Shit. Pull them down. So that's where the problem is. And yeah, you should be clearing everything and locking it down. But when the people in charge don't want to cooperate or play nice, then, you know, you get into a pissing match. Like I always say, I mean, this one's kind of my answer, and it wouldn't apply to most people. It's a really bad idea to get into a dick measuring contest with a girl and lose. But that's what Secret Service does. They get into essentially dick measuring contests with all the other agencies and who's the most important and who gets to decide what and make what calls. So they have to defer. So like ultimately, it falls on them. See, Alan, yes, they do use drones for added surveillance. But again, everybody just assumed this was a plainclothes. Nobody bothered to check it out when it was reported. Nobody. There was multiple reports. Everyone wrote it off to it's a plainclothes. Caroline, yeah. I think it's possible to make airtight security in civilian situations. So, okay. Night, Patty, we love you. Feel better. So like I said, you know, it's a really open area. It should be fairly easy to control, but I mean, we can go with Loki story time real quick. I think I've told this one before. I was doing school shooter drills with one of my agencies. And we realized that all our guys were stacking behind the bear, which is the bomb vehicle and the APC vehicle that we have. And they're stacking behind it, waiting for their signal to go through the door. What they're not doing is keeping situational awareness behind them, right? So all these people have their situational awareness on Trump and towards the stage primarily. But again, who's watching the watchers? If you have a sniper, you're going to have counter snipers. Okay? Counter snipers. So when we were doing this, I did not show up that day. I went almost a mile away and jumped up on a building and took a shot at the guys while they were stacked behind the armored personnel carrier. And let me tell you, that's the munition round. They all were like, where did that come from? Oh my God. And no one could figure it out because they all have tunnel vision. So to a point, there was a lot of tunnel vision going on here too, and you can tell. Why do I think Overwatch snipers took so long to engage? Weapons, I know you got here late. It is my understanding that when it was reported, and this, hold on, where's the other one? Brenda too. Everybody pointed it out for 4 minutes, right? You point it out, you point it out, you point it out. That's great. I don't care how many times you point it out. If the people you're pointing it out to are assuming it is a plainclothes sniper from your side, which is generally what that would be, they write it off. That's what happened. They wrote it off. Well, it's probably plainclothes and didn't look into it. They just coasted and didn't look into it. If you look into it, this doesn't happen. But he was there. People saw him. He just didn't look into it. And they had tunnel vision and not great situational awareness, which is never great. Let me see what I've missed. Yeah, hiding in plain sight. Yeah, because they literally are just like, hey, it's probably just one of our civvies. I can tell you on many things that I went to, I was not dressed in a way you would have thought I was law enforcement or that I had a weapon. And I can tell you, Lots of people like to assume that I'm no danger to them. So that's what a lot of people go for, because you can get closer. Let's see. Yes, they do use drones. Yeah, weapons, I think it was just a continuation of the, oh, it's just a plain Co's Overwatch. EE Caroline, yep, like I said, it's a pissing match. When I've worked with them, it's their way or no way at all the time. And you have to get permission, and now they're saying local law enforcement was involved. No, you were the incident commander. You needed to tell them and make sure things were done, but you did not. So, yeah, weapons, it's a bad TAC brief. Again, you have that many alphabet agencies that don't get along, that are all in a pissing match with each other, and you have state police, and you have local. One of the guys I used to work with was out there with his K9 working it. So nobody's talking to anybody, and you have poor communication because everybody's got an ego going. Let's see. So here's the problem, weapons. When the CST know where the other CSTs are, you're assuming that the Secret Service talked to the FBI and let the FBI and the CIA and DHS and local law enforcement, they'd all have to talk to each other to know where the other CSTs are. They don't talk to each other enough to like coordinate coffee, let alone where everybody is. So, you know what? And there's actually one other thing I can show in a second. Yeah, they don't play well together. Let me find this other picture for you guys. Let's look at this other picture. Yeah. There's my picture. Is this it? No. Of course, that didn't work. Let me find this real quick, guys, because I unfortunately took it down. Okay. Oops. I closed it because I didn't think I was going to have to come back to it, which I shouldn't if I know better than that. Here we go. Okay. So, what are we looking at here? This is a law enforcement sniper, which is local. Okay. Local law enforcement. This is an additional sniper from three-letter agency. This is where Trump was. This is where the shooter is. This is where some of the wounded are. So he's firing in this plane and catches somebody over here. These guys that are doing Overwatch are predominantly, they're looking straight ahead, guys. You can see. On top of this, guy's on the other side of a peaked roof, which is going to impede his vision. They're looking this way. They are not, in fact, looking this way towards where the shooter is. So like I said, tunnel vision and a blind spot. Tunnel vision and a blind spot. Yep, hiding in plain sight. Did they think they had eyes on? They didn't have eyes on him until the shot was fired. Once the shot was fired, everyone was like, where the f did that come from? And looked that way. But as you can see in that picture, they wouldn't have had a good sight line to where he was because they had tunnel vision and were going straight. So, any other questions, guys? Any other interesting questions? I can pull the weather map back up. Tex, you missed it. I'll pull this back up for you, Tex. Or you can rewind it. Tex, my stolen valor, whether people don't do anything, why would you know anything? Technical expert made me a windage and Hold on. Let me get it up because, you know, my fake technical expert. Hi, fake technical expert. My fake technical expert made me the weather brief to show that it was 7 knots. And it was not, and the wind direction wasn't prevailing enough. And the flag he would have been able to use for windage was parallel to the wind, so it wouldn't have worked. You know, I had to get that one in there, Navy text. What can I say? What can I say? Any other questions? Hold on one second. I had to make sure there was no technical expert that had to put anything in. Melanie, no, Micro and Minnie will appear. Micro and Minnie have both been in bed for quite a while, and Micro has pneumonia. She is on her 2nd round of antibiotics. So, no Micro. The kids are both asleep. That was my fake military person. But Melanie, I will, sweetheart. But yeah, so like I said, the issue is, you know, you've got parabolic sighting. We have bad ballistics. We have a bad sight line. And we have somebody that's no clue what they're doing. Hey, Nigel, how are you? Saw you earlier over at Mike's. I've missed you. How are you, Nigel, darling? Red purpose, someone identifying with the left, infiltrator. E.E. Caroline, I'm not going to speak much on the person right now. I know they were registered Republicans, supposedly wearing the Demo Ranch shirt and all of that. I'm not going to make any real comments about that right now, just because I do know a couple people that went to school with him. And I know a couple people that have known him. And until more has settled out, I don't want to kind of get involved. Weapons, don't read into the shirt. Oh yeah, weapons. You know what I think is really funny? It's not even like don't read into the shirt. Demo Ranch put out a statement that was like, dude, we don't claim you. Take my shirt off. When a YouTuber's like, nah, get rid of the merch. I was dying. Yeah, he was like, no, you can take my merch away. No. Yeah, this really could have, in all honesty, been avoided. But obviously, we looked at what failed. We looked at our sight lines, and we looked at our math. We looked at the math, and we looked at how to do it. So, what I'm going to ask that if you have any other questions, go ahead and ask them and put them in the comments below after this is over. And go ahead and, you know, like, subscribe, share it out, and, you know, we can talk more about it tomorrow. Psycho Boys. Yeah, Brandon Herrera was making fun of it. Oh, yeah. You know what? I haven't seen that. I'll have to go watch his emergency gun meme review. I will have to. I will have to go look at that stuff. I have not had time. Seattle and multiple new agencies were trying to make a connection. Seattle, everybody's going to read into everything. Like I said, so when I was joking earlier about me being like fat and ugly, oh, who was it? I think I was Iris commented on it too. It was funny. Hey, Weapons, good to see you. Go get your sleep. Like I was saying, guys. So I put up the fat thing. I put up that my thumbnail, and I got a message from YouTube that I had comments on my community post. that were being held for banned whatever. So I went and looked at them, and there was a bunch of people calling me fat and ugly. Hey, someone said I'm a 2 out of 10. I was highly amused. And then somebody said I was never going to be a real woman. They can tell by looking at my hands that I'm a man, and I'll never be a real woman. Apparently, I'm supposed to be offended by that. I'm just confused. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I I got no idea, but I was highly amused by that. It's like, you do you, boo. So, like I said, the new Patreon's up. Don't feel obliged. Let's see. That's Steven. Wait, hold on. Yeah, I think I'm more of a woman. I do have 2 kids. I'm not sure. Then they saw my hands. My hands and how I was in that picture holding my weapon told them I was a biological man. I can't fool anybody, and I will never be a woman. Honey boo boo. Yeah, I just loved it. I was like 2 out of 10. Score. 2 out of 10, and I'm fat. Yes. See, Alan, I'm not sure how I'm going to break it to them. I'm not sure how I was pregnant. If I'm like, I was just like, okay. It really didn't bother me. I thought it was hysterical. You know, I don't put a lot of stock in some of that stuff. I was amused that someone went out of their way to like give me a wall of angry comment. But so, like I said, guys, new Patreon is up. Check it out. You don't have to. If you'd like to, you can support me there. You can support me here with super chats or after the fact. I think they have super thanks. But the biggest thing you guys can do for me is like, subscribe, share. Like I said, I got a whole bunch of people deleted because YouTube did its usual, oh, these people haven't been active, so we're just going to get rid of them. They must be bots. Hold on. I'm not offended by the internet hearsay. Jay, I have a question. And this is me being a dick. I'm not going to lie. Part of this is me being a dick about it. I'll give you that. If you, we got that one to start with. There we go. Okay, we have that, right? Wrong button. You tell me what of this I should put stalking and be offended by. It's my standard answer. Please tell me why I should actually put any stock in this. I don't care. I think it's hysterical. I've never offended by that stuff. I think it's absolutely hysterical. Jay, I know. I mean, like, I gotta be mad at the internet. I gotta remember that one. I don't know. I'll have to find something else to make them mad about with my next thumbnail tomorrow. Oh, see, Alan, you're surprised I'm not. See, Alan, yeah, I contemplated a psych hold. I contemplated, drinking all the alcohol behind me because yeah, I'm good. When they said I was fat, I'm like, those are the same jeans I wore when I was 15, but you do you, boo-boo. Like, have fun. You do you. I don't really care. It amuses me to no end. But like I said, like, subscribe, share. If you want to check out additional content, there's Patreon. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. I love y'all. Good night, beasties. Everybody be well. And everybody, virtual hug to Tex on the loss of his father. And to Patty as she recovers from some pretty serious surgery. Love, 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 love. We love you all. Hey, Frauditor Roundup. Oh, Jay, I know you're being I know you're being silly and the internet's stupid. But I just think it's hysterical. They're like, you're ugly and fat. Cite your source. Beauty might be in the eye of the beholder, but I can still wear my jeans. Leave me alone. No problem, Brenda. Please join us tomorrow night for more gun talk. Good night, Steven, Johnny, Tex, Papa, Florida Roundup, Wolfert J, C. Allen, Claude. We love you all. You're always welcome here in the lair. And I'll talk to you guys tomorrow night. Yeah, Frauditor, I am, but I will be back. I will be back tomorrow night. I've been on for about an hour and a half now, but it'll be up. So I'll be back tomorrow. Guys, leave it in the comments, share it, let me know what you want me to cover. I love y'all. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great evening and everyone be safe.